Hi everyone, and welcome back to 417 Fox. Today we're going to talk about 5 things you really better think about before you start a Coyote Swap on one of these Foxbodies. So guys, there's a reason why I'm out here doing this video today. I've learned some pretty hard and significant lessons about myself, about doing this along the way that I really want to share with you. And before we get started with that, I do want to say this. Guys, you don't need a big shop. You don't have to have a car lift. You don't have to have a ton of different things to do a Coyote Swap or any swap in your car. Guys, there's guys out here doing them with, just an engine hoist, and all that can be done. Man, get some jack stands, got an engine hoist, and you can do it. Guys, if you have just a little bit of mechanical knowledge, there's so many resources out there. I know you guys can do it. So hopefully this video will help you kind of look over some key things. This is not going to be a long video, but it's definitely going to be some helpful tips on doing your Coyote Swap. So guys, the first 4 things on this list will all be crucial in the success of number 5. Number 1, before you start, set your budget. Realistically set your budget, guys. So I know there's a lot of guys out there might talk about, okay, you can do a Coyote Swap. It takes 30 grand, it takes 20 grand, it takes 10 grand. Well, really, all those answers are true. So decide what you want. What do you want out of your Coyote Swap? What's your financial ability to do a Coyote Swap? Guys, can you realistically do a Coyote Swap for say 8 or 9 grand? Possibly, yeah, it's bare bones. You've got some good deals on a motor, but by the time you figure a trans, motor, K-member, all the associated items from engine control management, all those different things, man, if you can do one for 8 to 10, that's really bare bones. Most of your swaps that I would call a low-end swap that would still have power steering, decent components, all those things, you're probably going to be closer to the neighborhoods of around 15 grand. Then you decide from there. So everything about planning your budget will go into step number 2 to know what you want to do with your car. So really understanding what your budget will be, you probably want to add at least 25% to that for things that you're not going to think about. Because it's real easy to figure up all the big ticket items, but guys, what you're not thinking about is all the small stuff that really adds up throughout the build. All right guys, so you got your budget down, right? So you know how much you're going to spend. So let's move on to number 2. So number 2 is do your research. I can't tell you enough about doing your research on the front side. Really plan your components. What type of K-member are you going to use? What type of suspension are you going to do? Are you going to go with a stick? What type of stick? Because everything with your major component planning will factor in everything else that goes along with it. So if you're going to go with a Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, on what K-member, well then that matters on what, it's a domino effect. Then what headers are you going to use with what K-member, what suspension you're going to use, if you're going to, what transmission you're going to use, then you decide what cross member you're going to use, what type of drive shaft. I mean, all those things. So deciding your major components first, that's going to be a domino effect. Are you planning on supercharging it in the future? Are you going to turbo, Whipple, whatever you're going to do? That's going to matter on your fuel system. So plan all those things out. And guys, there's a ton of resources out there. Whether you're going to Foxcast Media YouTube channel, looking at LMR has a ton of great resources on doing a Coyote Swap. So there's tons of resources out there, tons of YouTube. You can go there and do a ton of research, really plan that out, and that will go along with your next step. Let's move on to number 3. So guys, number 3, plan your build. Now, I mean, when I say plan it, get out a piece of paper, plan it, because this goes back into what I was talking about in number 5, that you can't be successful with number 5 unless you get these 4 things in place. Let me give you a perfect example of me not planning my build appropriately. So I'm right, okay, first thing I want to do, let's get this motor out, let's get this thing dropped, and let's get this Coyote ready to go in here and kind of test fit some stuff. Well, you get the car on the lift, you get the suspension out, you get the K-member out, you get your motor out, and my car's on my lift, and it's kind of stuck there, right? I can't really get in the car. Well, I still have to take the dash out, take the brake booster out, take all the things out of the engine bay. So you start taking all this stuff out because every build's going to be a little different. You may not have to do some of that stuff, but I'm going with a hydro boost, so all that's got to come out. Well, the dash needs to come out because I got other components going in there. You got all your wiring, you need to pull the wiring out, your harness. So really it's just easiest to pull the dash out. Well, that means I had to make this little makeshift kit, put it back. And guys, what I'm getting at is those things will slow your progress. They will also kill your motivation. So think about those things when you kind of plan out the steps of your build. Don't go to just the big thing that you know you can tackle. You got to also take care of the stuff that you might not want to do, like taking your interior apart, because nobody likes to pull a dash out of these cars. And when planning your build, you want to set a timeline. You want to set a time frame. Guys, I started this last March. March of 2024 is when I started on this. It is January of 25. I would have thought you were crazy if I didn't think I could get it done before Foxtoberfest last year. Well, this car's got a long ways to go. So don't forget that life will still happen. Your family will still happen, because that's number one. Other things are going to happen. Maybe it be your work, your house. There's going to be things that when you plan out your build that you're not taking into consideration. So my best advice would be, and I may be wrong, but if you think it's going to take you 6 months, you better plan a year. If you think it's going to take you a year, you better plan 1.5 years to 2 years. Just be realistic with that, because that goes a long way into number 5. Number 4, guys, know yourself. And if you don't know yourself, just ask your wife. She'll let you know every fault that you have. My wife's going to watch this. I'm being serious, guys, really. Sometimes we can be naive of what type of person we are, where our motivations lie. It's really easy to plan and get excited about one of these and get to spend some money and buy some stuff and get ready. You see the end picture, that's great. You just don't think about all the work that it takes to get to that end. I'm talking to myself here. Are you the type of person that starts things and don't always finish them, or takes forever to finish them? Do you get frustrated and quit easily? Are you willing to push through and get it done no matter what, even when the job's not fun, even when you're doing the stuff that's not fun to do, even when it's doing the stuff that you hate to do? You got to be able to do every step along the way, or you got to pay somebody to do it, one of the two. So one of my best advice that I could give you is don't just see the big picture. You got to set small goals. Set small goals and achieve those goals. All those things will go a long way into number 5, which is stay motivated. All the things that we talked about in these 5 things when you're going to do a swap on your car is to stay motivated. Have a friend, have your wife, have somebody you can call. Hell, one of the best YouTube channels about staying motivated and getting crap done is Brutal Vlogs. You guys watch Brutal Vlogs? Every time I go watch his channel, I'm like, I suck. I'm lazy. That man's out there getting after it. Same thing with watching Caleb. He's out there hustling, getting after it. So guys, a lot of this video was just me talking to myself. I hope it helps you be motivated and stay motivated if you decide to do a Coyote Swap on your car. Guys, I appreciate you watching. If you hadn't already, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.